Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog-a-day, and today is Tuesday the 20th, and today was a rather, interesting day. Had a lot of strange little things happening, and one rather large, crappy thing happened to me today, but I'm going to start off early in the day. It was very late this evening that happened, and I'll get into that in a second, but started off the day, had to go to landfill and do that kind of stuff today because I didn't get to do it yesterday with my grandfather calling me up, asking me to ride down to the farm to check on my father with him and that. He was kind of concerned he would find him in a bad state. We had a relative, I think it was a relative, that's, through marriage and stuff, that's around this and that. And she had kind of got my grandparents all worked up, telling them how bad my dad was. He couldn't get up out of the chair, so on and so forth and that. And I think kind of what it came down to, she's the type of person, she likes to drop in unannounced. She likes to hang around a little too long. And Dad was just tired. He was in pain. He was really wanting her to leave. And he kind of got short with her, I'm assuming. He usually does that when he gets where he wants to go to bed. He wants to have people leave him the hell alone. And he kind of, I think, threw her out of the house. So I'm not sure the whole story. He didn't really say much about it. And of course, she didn't tell it except how bad he was and how he couldn't be alone and so on and so forth. Ironically, though, he wasn't alone. And there was somebody with him. And that was basically his, stepson, adopted son, or whatever you want to call it. Don't know if he ever officially adopted him or not, but the son that, he's raised since the kid was 4 or 5 or some junk, maybe 8 years old. And that right there was a rather interesting situation. She didn't bother telling him that part. So they were freaking out. He didn't call him in the morning. He calls him every morning, that kind of deal. They chose to drive down as opposed to even calling because they didn't want to disturb him by making him answer the phone and so on and so forth, which was ridiculous because I'm going to knock on the door. You're going to get up to answer the door anyway. So it's going to be easier to pick up the phone that's right there next to you than it is to make you go answer the door. But I think part of it, my grandfather's wanted to actually go down and see him personally, and kind of check on his son and that and make sure, because it's easier to get a good feeling in your heart about how he's doing when you can look him in the eye and see how he's doing as opposed to hearing him on the phone. So went down there, had that kind of junk going on. So we had a lot of that stuff that got done yesterday. So everything from yesterday got pushed into today. Not a big deal for me, but I got up, got all the stuff done to go to landfill. Went over, took the dog. I went ahead and kept him last night again. Took him over to my ex's place and mowed her yard and that. I mowed my own yard first, I guess. Then I went over and mowed her yard. Borrowed her truck to haul the garbage stuff. Came back home, got the garbage, went to the landfill. Everything there went fine. Took the dog with me. He had a lot of new smells there. He was definitely super excited about that because the fact that he's never been anywhere near a situation like that. I'm almost 100% positive. I would bet my life that he's never been out something like that. So went ahead. He introduced himself to a couple new people and that. Really had a good time there. Then went from there. Came back over and got some more stuff down around the house here. Also decided to go for another little bit of a walk and that. So we took off, went and did some of the general walking around he had to do. Went and picked up some more stuff for him and that, little supplies and stuff he needed. Also stopped by and saw the family I'm adopting him from, let him hang out with the kids and stuff, and kind of helping the kids transition away from him. Instead of just having him take off and never see him again, we're trying to work with them and all that good stuff. Then I went ahead, came back home, got something to eat and stuff, got a few things done around here. Decided to head out for my run. I was going to take him with me on the run today. I had 8 miles to do, not a big deal. But I wasn't sure if he's going to be able to handle 8 miles. It was super hot today. Well, I shouldn't say super hot. It was like in the low 90s, I think, like 91, 92, something like that. It dropped down to about 86. Decided I was going to take him with me, and they agreed that they would watch him for part of the run. So I put in about 2.25 miles with him, dropped him off at their house. They watched him while I did the rest of the run, came back and got him. And they said he really was just, I think, antsy, kind of wanting to see me and stuff. He was missing me, kind of pranced around the house, didn't lay down, didn't rest, and they thought he really wanted to go for more of a run. So my run was kind of over, but I went ahead and said to heck with it and just went ahead and took off. As we walked through their stuff, I put my light on. It got dark, so I put my light on, a little flashing light, and he was not wanting to walk. He kept kind of chewing on my arm, and he kept chewing on the leash, and he kept kind of running ahead of me and coming back, get me, dragging my arm and trying to get me to run. So I went ahead and I sped up, started running with him. Not a big deal there. Seemed to go pretty good. Everything was fine, no big deal at all. Ran across the square, which is our local little business area, and he likes to kind of look back at me and kind of cross over in front of me and stuff to make sure I'm there. He kind of is a big dog that likes to touch you a lot. He's got some abandonment issues that we're working on, and he's definitely having a hard time with that. And this time, usually I can kind of knee him or kind of just bump him a little bit, and he'll get back on the way, or even just kind of holler at him to move on or kind of go on kind of thing. And this one didn't work. He tripped me up. He got my feet tangled up there, ended up kicking my own foot. When he stepped, I basically, in trying to keep from stepping on him and hurting him and falling, I ended up tripping myself up. I crashed the ground. I skinned the shit out of my hand. You can't really tell. There's kind of discolored in that. Both hands hit the ground. I actually dropped the leash, smashed my knee in the ground, my shoulder, my hip. I've got my knee all, I'm not sure you're going to see, I got it all wrapped up. I've been icing it and heating it. Got myself some of my old pain medication, my oxycodones and that. Ended up taking some of it. Just my knee is absolutely on fire. It's kicking my ass. I ended up making it home. I had probably, I don't know, 3/4 mile, maybe something like that. Ended up making it home. Ironically, the adrenaline was still going. I was able to actually jog on home. Not quite as fast, but I was able to make it back home. Wasn't really a big deal. But in the process of falling, I was really concerned. One of the reasons I wanted a belt leash for him was that way in case I ever fell, it'd be tied to me. He couldn't get away kind of thing. I hollered for him to heel. He actually stopped, which was really good, which since I'd only had it in 3 days now. Been working on the heel thing a little bit. He stopped instantly. Friday when I was over there with him, he'd gotten off leash and the collar came off and took off running. We had to chase him down. I couldn't catch him in that. So I actually was able to convince him to run back home for a treat. So I was able to get him back in the house, but it took us 20 minutes. He just literally came back over. I called him over to me, grabbed the thing. I jumped back up real quick, grabbed his leash, and proceeded on down the road. So I got a little ways and that kind of stuff and checked myself over. I was bleeding pretty good in that, just general good old information that you got to love. That one of the things, I've never fallen yet, so it's my first time falling, running, and I expect it to be during texting, so I'd like to text and run. And luckily it was the dog, so I can blame him instead of having to blame my texting. So he's down here right now. He's actually, I don't know if you'll ever see him or not. He's down there sleeping. He's just all zonked out like crazy. So the one thing he's not going to be happy with tonight is he's not sleeping on my bed with me. He is going to sleep on the floor tonight. My knee, my shoulder, my hip hurt way too bad to have to deal with him tonight. So he's going to have a hard issue with that. He might get a little bit owie, but nowhere near as bad as my knee hurts. So I just really hope he doesn't jump up in the middle of the night, land on my knee. I'm afraid I might like kick or punch kind of thing or yell and scare the crap out of him. I'm sure I'm going to yell if he lands on my knee because I am in so much pain right now. It's ridiculous. I might end up actually sleeping out on the couch and kind of trapping him in the room here so he can't come out there and jump on me, and just kind of protect myself. And also I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to scare him and get him fearful of me in any way. So that was my whole thing of the day. Oh, I also found out that my dad, who was putting off moving in town, he ended up moving into town. He's going to stay with my brother and his wife until, I don't know if he's there forever, just to get the pain under control a little bit, but that's where he's going to be from now on. So we're going to meet with hospice tomorrow sometime. They don't know what time it is. He's a fill-in person. So whenever they get an opening, they're going to call and let us know. I'm going to go over and kind of help meet with them and kind of hear what they have to say and kind of help be able to give my 2 cents and see if I can help make sense of it. A lot of times it kind of helps if you have multiple people listening. Then we can all put the information together. We can all make sense of it totally. So that's what we got going on for today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and wish me luck on my knee injury because I still got to run tomorrow. So can't let my runner streak end because of a stupid busted up knee. So I might have to do the mile on crutches, and long as I technically am not walking, I'm going to count it as a run. So I'll talk to you guys then. Have a great one.